G'day folks. Well, a bunch of you wanted to know what this motor's all about. Some of you probably remember it from earlier videos of mine back when I had the old camera. This is a 1 horsepower Century electric motor. I've been reliably informed it's about 100 years old. Its patent date alone goes from March 7th, 1899 to January 13th, 1903. I don't know when they're actually manufacturing them. It's got a serial number there, 63127. But I understand it's about 90 to 100 years old. I've done a full restoration on it, short of rewinding it. It never needed rewinding, so all I've done is dip, varnish and bake and paint everything. Clean it right up, 100%. It's got oil ring type bearings, which I'll demonstrate when it's running, front and rear. I think output shaft size is about 3/4 of an inch. And it's definitely not metric, not this old. And it's also reversible. I'm going to put that indicator there between F, which is this one, forwards, clockwise shaft end, like looking at it from the shaft end it's going clockwise, to R, and it goes counterclockwise. You can't do that on the fly, it's only during startup. This is a brush throw-out model. It retracts the brushes away from the commutator as soon as it gets up to speed. There's a big centrifugal clutch mechanism in there, which pushes on these rods down the centre of the armature, or the rotor I should say, or rotor slash armature, because it's a repulsion start and turn induction motor, and pushes this collar out and retracts the brushes. So let's give it a go. These have a very unique sound and a very unique smell on startup. You can smell the ozone coming off the brushes. It's a beautiful sweet smell. That's it, started. Now it's just an induction motor. The brushes aren't touching, or ever so slightly. You can hear a bit of a ticking sound as they float around in their boxes. But that's going counterclockwise. No, sorry, that's going clockwise shaft end. So from this end here, it's going that way. And as you can see, wet oil lubrication. It's got metal rings that run over the shaft and just float around in there. It's typical of motors of this era to have wet bearings like this. They're a solid bronze bearing. A lot of background noise in here. The weather's turned to crap, so ignore any excess background noise. And now ready to start again. Let's loosen this 1/2 inch nut or bolt off. And we'll push that up to there, and you can see it rotates the brush collar. The brush collar's position in relation to the field poles is critical for starting direction. So we line that roughly up with the R on the scale there. Tighten that back up, and again you can't do this on the fly because it's not. It disengages the brushes. I have seen people reverse constant brush runners on the fly. You carefully move it to a neutral position where the motor stops, and then you move it up a bit further and the motor restarts in reverse, but this one won't do that, and it's probably not advisable to do it anyway. So let's plug it back in again. And there we go, it's running counterclockwise. Yep, now it's going counterclockwise shaft end. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the exact age of this motor, but people reckon it's about 100 years old. I know one guy who's dealt with a lot of these and he said, yeah, about 100. Still got the original end cap in the back end. Even the oil drain plugs have a nice little shoulder machined onto them. Very ornate, rounded shoulder, just using a form tool. You don't see that on any newer motors, even in the 30s and 40s. Or I suppose 40s to 50s you'd just see a hex head plug or a square head plug. But these ones have a very nice ornate brass plug on them. Everything about this motor is very well built. They're a very, very nice unit and very well balanced. Incredibly well balanced. And that's that. I've got to work on some, well, they never really had a terminal box on it, just had cloth wrapped wire coming out of it, so I've got to work on something to replace that. That's obviously modern, but overall it's complete. And it's 100% complete. I don't believe there would have been a box over this. It's just got this housing riveted to the thing with a ceramic insulator. Yeah. Not a bad motor. I think I paid about $50, $60 for it, scrap metal. Not really worth much as scrap, but good thing I saved it. I've got about 3 or 4 centuries. Eventually I'll dig out the other ones, which are smaller. One of them's bigger. It's a more modern enclosed bell, 2.25 horsepower. And I've also got some fractional horsepower ones, like 0.5, 0.75 horsepower. More modern units, but this is the oldest and probably not the heaviest, but for only 1 horsepower it's pretty damn heavy. By comparison, this is a normal single phase capacitor start 1 horsepower induction motor. No brushes, no nothing, by Crompton Parkinson, and this thing weighs about 80 kilos, 150, 160 pounds. It's not a light motor, none of them are. Any electric motor made back in that time period is pretty heavy. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. Thanks for watching.